to all rise as the band plays our national anthem.
The music of Timothy Brogue has been performed throughout the world. He is an American composer and organist from Chicago, Illinois, born in 1947. Brogue studied music at Northwestern University, receiving the degree Bachelor of Music with highest honors in 1969. After a few stints teaching in the public schools, he finally settled in as organist and director of music at First Presbyterian Church in Belmar, New Jersey in 1972, and has held that title ever since. He has been honored with the Edwin Franco Goldman Award from the American School Band Directors Association, and in 2003 received the Award of Excellence from the New Jersey Education Association. Begun in the mid-1970s as a set of 3 sketches, Train Heading West and Other Outdoor Scenes was expanded, rescored, and revised in early 1997. The composer notes, however, and this is a quote, "The expressive demands are considerable, and the conductors and players will profit from careful study of the work's language and its compositional procedures." Since we are here with the Classic Legacy Band, though, I'm guessing they did their homework. The evocation of the great outdoors has always been a tradition in 20th century American music, with perhaps the best examples found in the music of Aaron Copland, particularly his great ballet score, Billy the Kid. The use of open intervals, sparse scoring, and powerful elemental tunes has become familiar, not only in symphonic music and band music, but also in film scoring. Here, in 3 movements called Prairie Ritual, Rain on the Mountains, and Train Heading West, is Timothy Brogue's revised work. going to play was actually inspired by a community band. So what's the connection to trains? I'm going to tell you. The original Hobo Band of Pitman, New Jersey is an internationally renowned community band donning the garments of the stereotypical, of the time, migratory worker who often traveled by illegally hopping aboard freight trains. The band got its start when many of the original members graduated from Pitman High School in 1934. The high school musicians wanted to continue playing after graduation, so they formed a band. They practiced whatever they could, or wherever they could, in a garage, in the lobby of the Pitman National Bank, even in a vacant jail cell at the Pitman Police Station. Sounds like what a lot of community bands around here sometimes have to do. They were asked to march in a Halloween parade, and without proper attire, they jokingly decided to wear whatever mismatched articles of clothing they could find. A newspaper reporter wrote, "They looked like a bunch of hobos." And from that day, the band adopted the wardrobe as their official uniform. The last original member of the band, Ralph Miller, played until 2010. At the age of 90, he said, "Playing in the band keeps me young. I love it. If I didn't have this, I don't know what I would do." In O'Reilly's composition that the band is about to play, we relive the history of the original Hobo Band with an interesting mix of original material and authentic railroad songs. The opening fanfare, based on "I've Been Working on the Railroad," is followed by a simulated train whistle leading to the Wabash Cannonball and "Get on Board." So, all aboard for a rollicking good time as we ride the rails through history. is a children's book first published in 1985 by Michigan native Chris Van Allsburg. The book was later made into an animated feature film starring the voice of Tom Hanks. The story goes like this. Late one Christmas Eve, after the town has gone to sleep, a boy boards a mysterious train that waits for him. It is the Polar Express, bound for the North Pole. The story is as much about the magical train ride as it is about what happens upon arrival. Once there, Santa offers the boy any gift he desires. The boy modestly asks for one bell from the harness of the reindeer. The gift is granted. On the train ride home, the bell is lost. On Christmas morning, the boy finds the bell under the tree. The mother of the boy admires the bell, but laments that it is broken. For you see, only believers can hear the sound of the bell. The author of the book has said that the Polar Express train is based on the Père Marquette 1225, an N1-284 steam locomotive built in the 1940s. Recently, it was rebuilt and is currently stationed in Owasso. Actual original blueprint and sound effects from live recordings of the train in motion went into the film's animation. You can take the Polar Express train from Owasso through the Christmas village of Ashley and many other cities along the Great Lakes Central Railroad, all the way up to Cadillac, Michigan. The locomotive is one of the few remaining operable steam engines of its size. The Classic Legacy Band now presents this wonderful medley of songs from the movie, including Believe, The Polar Express, When Christmas Comes to Town, and Spirit of the Season. The Great Locomotive Chase was a legendary event that took place on April 12, 1862, during the early years of the Civil War. It was an attempt by Union forces and supporters to dismantle railroad infrastructure north of Atlanta, Georgia, in the hopes of eventually capturing the vital city of Chattanooga, Tennessee. In order to cause as much damage as possible to the crucial line connecting the two cities, the volunteers, under the command of a civilian by the name of James J. Andrews, commandeered the train, the General, and headed north. Unfortunately, the hastily laid plans were too slow and disorganized to cause serious damage, and well short of their destination, the train ran out of fuel. Although the music in this piece gives the impression of a fast-moving chase, locomotives of the time normally averaged about 15 miles an hour. And the hilly terrain north of Atlanta further slowed their progress. Because Andrews stopped periodically to perform acts of sabotage, the pursuers from the Confederate Army, traveling on foot and handcarts, caught up with the train before it reached Chattanooga. In other words, this chase was anything but fast. Today, the General remains preserved in Kennesaw, Georgia, at the Southern Museum of Civil War and Locomotive History, and the nearly 87-mile stretch of railroad on which the Andrews raid took place is still in operation today. Inspired by these historical events, composer Robert W. Smith stages the train chase complete with fascinating textures and effects. Close your eyes and become engulfed in the vivid sounds. You can almost smell the smoke.
In the late 1800s and early 1900s, circus troupes often traveled by train to different venues. This transportation trend was started in 1872 by P.T. Barnum and his famous Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and then adopted by other troupes. The next piece, Runaway Circus Train, was inspired by the circus trains of this time and reflects the often risky endeavor of transporting people, equipment, and live animals by rail. It is a highly programmatic work which begins with an original waltz that sets a circus atmosphere. Soon after, the circus has packed up and the train begins to move to its next destination. But trouble looms in the distance and chaos ensues. Using two familiar melodies, this colorful work uses a myriad of clever effects as it juxtaposes circus music with impending disaster. Philip Sparke is a British composer born in 1951. He studied composition, trumpet, and piano at the Royal College of Music. His first major commission was for the Centennial Brass Band Championships in New Zealand. 3 times he won the European Broadcasting Union New Music for Band competition. He has written for brass band championships in New Zealand, Switzerland, Holland, Australia, and the UK, including 3 times for the national finals at Royal Albert Hall. A commission for and eventual recording of his music with the Tokyo Kosei Wind Orchestra opened the door worldwide to his music and led to several more compositions, particularly from the United States. His conducting and adjudicating activities have taken him to most European countries, Scandinavia, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and the United States. On October 4th, 1883, the most fascinating train in the world left Paris for Constantinople for the first time. With 40 passengers on board, the round trip lasted 7 days. Just like that, the geography of Europe was turned upside down, and the notion of long-distance travel was completely redefined. By 1894, as the Orient Express traveled through different countries, palace-like hotels opened along the way, extending the experience of a train journey into a fully modern, luxurious travel experience. And when the Midnight Blue cars were unveiled in 1919, for the first time ever, Paris was connected to Istanbul via Milan and Venice. This technological feat opened a new route through the Alps. As air travel became the norm in the latter part of the 20th century, the Orient Express made its last direct trip between Paris and Istanbul in 1977. It seems people were more concerned with just getting there than traveling in style. Orient Express by Philip Sparke describes in music a journey through Europe on the famous train after which it is named. The last piece, Halcyon Hearts, is an ode to love and how it affects us all. Halcyon denotes a time where a person is ideally happy or at peace. So in short, Halcyon Hearts is about the moment of peace when one finds their love or passion. The introduction of this piece, which is sudden and colorful, symbolizes the feeling of an unexpected journey, the unexpected journey it takes to find something or someone we love. Using the colors and natural energy of the ensemble, you may recognize a sound of ambition and passion throughout the work. No matter what race, gender, religion, nationality, or love, we are all united with the common thread of passion from the heart. The Classic Legacy Band would like to dedicate this piece to you, our audience. Your generosity and support means so much to the band. The act of performing with the band for an audience like you gives us all Halcyon Hearts.